What's up, everybody? You're listening to another episode of The Signature Cast, where we talk bodybuilding, business, and everything in between. To my right, to my right, we're going to leave that in there. To my right, we're joined by resident IFBB Women's Physique Pro Jess Falborn.
Good day, mate.
I'm doing fantastic. Now, I went into a southern one there. Who knows what's going on?
What accents are we doing?
We're doing everything here. But, guys, thank you for tuning in once again. As the title says below, we are going over our 2023 Mr. Olympia predictions. We're going to cover a few of the categories. We don't have time to cover all of them, but all of the ones that we are definitely most excited about. So, guys, thank you so much for staying tuned. And we are going to start off with, drumroll, please. We are going to start off with women's, what do we say, physique?
You want to start with women's?
Or do we say women's figure? Figure.
We could do figure.
We're going to start off with women's figure.
Okay.
So just a few things to let the people at home know. The Mr. Olympia this year will be back in Orlando, Florida. So they're going there for the second time. I believe 2 years ago it was there. I was there. It was a wonderful Mr. Olympia. Personally, I prefer it over Vegas.
Yeah.
Just because it's a little more, you got the sunshine. It's a little more homey feeling. Yeah. And the stage itself is very, very impressive because it's huge. It's in an expo hall versus it being in like a theater.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
But it's going to be really exciting. So we're back in Orlando. Yep. Side note, Sean Clarita's going for his third title. Whoop, whoop.
Getting his third title.
Getting his third title.
We know this.
And there's been a lot of really big updates in the world of bodybuilding. So one I think we can just start off with before we get to women's figure is they've changed now how you are qualified for next year's Olympia. So let them know.
Yeah, so in the past, I think years ago it was you had to win a show to get to the Olympia. Then they changed it a few years ago to a qualifying system where you could win a show and or you could accrue points through your placings at pro shows. And what that led to, honestly, was like a massive athlete list at the Olympia, which had its pros and its cons, but prejudging took forever in some of these divisions, like bikini, men's physique. There were so many competitors. So they moved on to they moved away from the point system, and now for 2023, qualifying for the Mr. Olympia 2023, you had to win a show in order to qualify. So it's significantly made the competitors list much smaller because there are only so many shows, right? So you have to win in order to get there. But we're also going to see, I believe, a lot of the caliber and quality of athlete is going to be much higher, and I think the show is going to run quicker and smoother just because you have less athletes. So
very awesome. And I know we are dealing with a few issues right now, obviously because of the global climate and what's going on right now. A lot of people, unfortunately, haven't been able to get their visas and even coming into the United States. So I know it's affecting almost every category.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary. Unfortunately, it's something that, the IFBB really can't control. They can put as many of a good word out there as possible. But I know in terms of open bodybuilding, I believe Hottie's already here.
Hottie's here.
So he's fine. I know there's a couple of open guys that aren't going to be able. Nathan Diasha.
Nathan Diasha got stuck in Florida, and they literally just sent him back.
Yeah. So
he got to go to. It was crazy. I was following it on Instagram. I'm sure some of the people that are watching this follow. Did you see this?
I did not know.
He got to Florida to the airport, and then immediately they were like, "No, you can't come in. Your visa is denied. You can't stay here." But there wasn't a flight back to the UK right away, so they let him leave the airport, go stay at a hotel. And they were like, you have to show back up for your flight and fly back. And so he's on Instagram, like, going live, talking about it on Facebook Live. And there's people, like, all over Instagram, like, I've got an attorney here. We're going to look up this, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, didn't pan out, and he had to go back. And it sucks because, like, you work so hard. And now, especially because you have to win a show to get to the Olympia, I think I've seen at least 5 or 6 athletes this has happened to this year.
What a shame.
Yeah.
It's like the movie The Terminal with Tom Hanks. He just, like, lives in the airport for a little while.
Yeah, it seems miserable, especially when you're like dieted, depleted.
Oh yeah,
like it's that, and then now they just announced for 2024 that it used to be the top 5 in each division at the Olympia were automatically qualified for the following year's Olympia. Now they said in order to continue to raise the caliber of athlete and also to make the rest of the pro shows across the year really competitive and high quality, only top 3 at the Olympia are now going to qualify for next year's Olympia.
How do you feel about that as someone who is now a pro hoping to be at the Olympia stage next year?
Come on, guys, my rookie year. Like, I mean, I don't shy away from competition, but now I'm like, it's going to be steep competition because you think about it. The top 3 for me, women's physique, are incredibly talented and shredded and all that stuff. And then number 4 and 5, it's not like they're not.
Yeah,
So now I'm going to compete against one of them at a show, and so it's not that it's intimidating, but certainly the competition is going to be there. So I also appreciate where they're coming from. That they want to make these pro shows across the year really competitive and really high quality. And I think it's exciting to see, especially with like open bodybuilding, some of these guys compete throughout the year because more people want to watch them.
100%. And I know we've talked about this before in the past, but not to say that's become flooded, but I know from what I hear from all my friends who are older bodybuilders, it's gotten a little bit easier to get your pro card.
Oh.
So that being said, this maybe is a good thing. It's kind of weaning out the people who, I don't want to say don't deserve to be a pro. Everybody does if they actually put the work in. Some people's genetics come into play and all that type of stuff. But like you said, we want the best people on that Olympia stage. We don't want somebody who just fell through the cracks and, you know, oh, yeah, they get their moment. But nobody wants to really see them.
Yeah, that's why I'm a big fan of taking away the point system.
Okay.
Because...
Oh, true, because you could just...
You have to win a show.
Yeah.
I strongly believe win a show to get to the Olympia.
I completely agree with that.
Instead of do 17 shows and you're just rewarded for really hard work.
Yeah,
like, and not to take anything away from that, but like the Olympia is a Super Bowl of bodybuilding. Let's save it for the top 0.5%.
100%. All right, let's hop right in to women's figure. Do you know what Sydney Gillen won last year?
Yeah, I think she's 4 times now.
Do you know what her Instagram is? Because I can only find her like.
Oh,
is it under some like secret name?
Gosh, I used to know it off the top of my head. She should be tagged in some.
I would think so, but you know.
I think she's gonna win again. Absolutely.
Yeah, she's absolutely fabulous.
There's no question. I think there's a lot of conversation around if Jessica Reyes-Padilla, who came in second last year, is going to dethrone her. And I although they have like completely different physiques, I don't think there's a chance. I think Sid is vitamin C. There you go. Right.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
perfect.
I don't think there's a chance. I think. And she stays covered up. You probably won't see anything. I haven't looked in a little while, but I think Sid's coming for it. Jess won when I was at Texas Pro when I did the interviews for NPC News Online. I interviewed Jess because she won Texas, and she's got an incredible physique. She also won Masters Olympia in figure, but I still have Sid taking it.
So, in your professional opinion, do you think it'll probably be a very close repeat of the top 3 to 5? Is there any changes or any new up-and-comers you think that might be coming into place?
So I'm going to pull up who was last year real quick. I think 4 and 5 could switch, but I still think it's going to be Sid, Jess, and Lola. I still think Lola is going to be battling with Sid and Jess, but like she's not going to beat Jess, and she's not going to beat Sid. So, but Lola has a phenomenal physique. But for 4 and 5... I wrote these down earlier, guys, because I'm not figure anymore, so I don't remember all their names. I have Natalia Soltero in 4th, and then I have Rhea Gale in 5th. Rhea just won. What was the show? Rhea just won a show to qualify.
Well, that would be really big for Rhea, then going from 12th last year, hopefully coming up to 5th.
Yeah.
So she'll definitely place top 10 is what you're saying.
I think so, yeah.
Very cool.
So I think most people are looking at that top 3. And really that top 2 battle, but yeah, that's who I have. All
right, so let's move right on to women's physique. This is your category.
Yep.
I'm going to leave most of this to you. I do have some opinions on it because it's one that I follow a little bit more than the others. Yeah. But obviously last year Natalia won, Sarah took second.
Yeah.
Little controversial there because they were both, it's very interesting. From what I understand, when Sarah won the year prior, they said she was great, but almost overly conditioned, right? So the next year she comes in just as great shape, but slightly less conditioned, and then they reward the person who's more conditioned.
Yep. Yeah, she was pissed.
So rightfully pissed.
Yeah.
I think, just from the outside perspective, it's going to be the two of them battling it for first and second.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone on this list. I know Brooke Walker is extremely impressive. I'm also, side note, a big fan of Ivy Rain. I think she's awesome. I think I think her physique is very appealing to the eye.
Yeah.
And
It's really balanced.
And she's on the older side. I think she's in her mid 40s, maybe.
Yeah, she won the Masters Olympia. So her and Jess Padilla are teammates. And they both won Texas. So I interviewed Evie at Texas and talked to her for a while. She's so sweet. We actually spent time together in the gym too. Really, really great competitor. Really nice person. And she went on to win Masters Olympia. And I have to say, I think she's going to be moving up to, what was she last year? Third? No.
Last year she was fifth.
I have her moving up to third.
I would not be surprised.
This is the best conditioning I think she's ever brought. When I saw her at Texas,
she looked absolutely phenomenal at the Masters Olympia.
Yeah.
And like I said, the way she carries herself, and you know more about women's physique than I do. I think that Sarah and Natalia have very distinct looks to themselves.
They're different.
They're totally different.
Yeah.
And I think it's Evie, not Ivy, you said? Or
it's Evie Ryan.
It's Evie Ryan.
I always said Ivy Rain.
Me, same.
And then when I interviewed her, I asked her before we went on camera, I was like, I just have to confirm. And she was like, Evie, and her last name is Ryan. It's like very guttural, like the German pronunciation. But Evie is how you pronounce it.
Okay, so Evie, I think, is a little bit more of the traditional women's physique look.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to carry her very far forward.
Yeah, I think she's been working her way up the ranks.
Yeah, exactly.
When she won at Texas, I loved the speech that she gave because it was kind of a slight to some of the other women on stage. And I love it. I love the tea. She made a comment about how feminine she is and how we need to reward the femininity more in this sport. Because it's beautiful, right? Like muscles can be beautiful and feminine. So I loved that she said that, and her and I chatted a little bit about that afterwards.
I completely agree. I think that's what she does better than most people. She really embraces still the feminine side, but also being jacked and ripped.
Yeah.
It can go hand in hand.
And she's a little bit, like you said, a little bit older, and she's a mom. She's just, I feel like she's a good complete package, and she deserves to move up the ranks a little bit. So,
but I would love her to win, but do you think she has any chance of taking it?
No, if Sarah and Natalia weren't there, maybe, but her and Natalia are teammates as well. And I think it's you have to, I've always said this, you have to dethrone to get up, and now we've got these two women battling, so it could be a 3-woman battle. I mean, Evie's doing really, really well, but I don't think she'll take. I don't think she'll win it.
You did mention, however, before we start this podcast, that you think this is the year of upsets and dethroning.
Yeah. So I have Sarah winning.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
have Sarah winning.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's gonna come back with a vengeance and oh, you didn't want conditioning? Well, now I'm gonna give you all of the conditioning.
Yeah. And the drama that's gone on back and forth between her and Natalia on Instagram, and they had the Olympia battle that Olympia TV's been doing. I think Sarah's coming back with a vengeance, and I don't think Natalia's going to look any worse. I think she's going to look better than she looked last year, but I think Sarah's just F this, I got this. I see Sarah taking it. But as far as after the top 3, I've got 2 new people in the top 5.
Okay.
So I don't have Brooke in the top 5 this year. And although I love Brooke's physique, love Brooke's physique, I think that this year we have seen insane conditioning, and it's been rewarded in women's physique. And Brooke was able to qualify for the Olympia by winning a show 2 years ago, and then by re-qualifying the past 2 years by being in the top 5, right? So I think she's probably honestly my favorite physique in women's physique, because she hasn't been grainy, and she's still really, really feminine. But I don't see her staying in the top 5 because they are obviously rewarding and insane conditioning.
She has the shape all day long.
And so feminine, and my favorite physique in women's physique. But who I see beating her out this time is Emily Schubert and Ann Moan. So Emily Schubert, I don't know how she gets this condition. She was not on the. I don't think she was on the Olympia stage last year for women's physique. SCHU is her last name. Schubert.
There we
Yeah,
go.
there we
Let's
go.
see.
I think I've shown you her photos. And
My
videos.
Lord.
Yeah, like,
Talk about
yeah,
conditioning.
Yeah, she's just inside out.
Jeez.
Like, yeah.
Huh.
No words. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Yep.
That is.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. We're looking at her Instagram, guys. I mean, she's
Just go to her Instagram.
Just go to her Instagram. I mean, it's
That
she
is
crazy peeled.
insane.
So she competed at Pittsburgh. She competed at New York. Like, she was right up there, and Toronto. She was right up there with Natalia, and she was taken second, and I forget what show she won to take first. But the question this year, the narrative was, is she in fact too conditioned, and should she be women's
bodybuilding? Yeah.
But the answer is, I mean, she's the shape of women's physique. The conditioning.
Yeah, she doesn't
level
have the
probably
size of women's bodybuilding.
No, she doesn't. But that's, I mean, she fits in this division. They rewarded her. She won the show. She'll be on stage. So if conditioning is it, I have her in the top. I have her placing fourth.
And who was the other person?
Type in ALM body. And Lorraine Moan. I don't know if she'll. Listen, if we're talking conditioning, she'll be in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know with Anne, though, and I was having a conversation with someone the other day about this. If I were judging, I'd put her in the top 5. But there's just something about her that the judges must not like, because she never ends up in the top 5. And I think she's got an insane physique, and she gets crazy peeled. So if I were judging, I would put her in the top 5. I don't know if she'll get there, though.
What's her name that was here a couple years ago, or sorry, last year? Like Sweden or Norway or something.
Kali?
Yeah, did she make the Olympia this year or no? Oh, she didn't make the Olympia
No.
this year. Oh, okay.
No.
I was just curious if she was gonna
No.
be able to make it this year. Okay, well, that's a very look. I still think I like the fact that you said that Evie you think is gonna move up. I think she deserves it too. Going back to who did we just look at?
Emily Schubert.
So I think once again, you're so right. She is also pushing that envelope of there's not as much of the femininity left, because she's so jacked and so grainy and so hard.
There's no body fat left. Like,
exactly.
a little bit of body fat lends itself to the femininity.
Yeah,
So
it just gives a little bit of that shape left and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. Yeah.
So it's we'll see. Like you said, though, if they're just rewarding pure conditioning, I mean, she'd like win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
very
So-
cool.
So we'll see. I mean, and we won't go through the rest of the top 10, obviously, but like, it's a toss-up, because I could see Anne not making the top 5 and falling a little bit lower. It just depends on how some of these ladies show up. We've got a lot of newbies to women's physique, or like on the Olympia stage of women's physique this year. So, but I think the top 3 is going to be really interesting. So.
All right, well, let's move right on
Yeah.
to women's fitness, which is one of my. I know the last time we did this, I said it's one of my favorite categories. KHADR. Oops, sorry.
I'm not, so I know like maybe 4 fitness women. So I don't have great predictions here, but I've got like 2 that I really want to see.
Oh, I
do
remember
well.
her. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my teammate Ariel, I would love to see her. I mean, she's in the best shape she's ever been in.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see her take the win this year.
Well, and obviously Missy is a force to be reckoned with.
Missy's coming to defend her title, and like, she's got such a crazy physique.
Yeah,
Like,
she's absolutely nuts.
she's got a figure physique, borderline women's physique,
Mm-hmm.
a crazy small waist, but then she also does these friggin' flips.
Yep,
Like-
and all that
like-
crazy stuff.
Like a phenomenal
And
athlete.
what's interesting is I think Jacqueline Baker from
Yep.
our neck of the woods
Yeah.
just won the Arnold,
Yeah.
and she actually is, I would say, the opposite. She probably has more of a figure-esque physique
Yeah.
with a little more conditioning.
Yeah.
She's not, like Missy is incredibly impressive.
Yeah, she's a force.
Right?
Yeah.
But from the fitness side of things, I think Jacqueline actually might be a little bit better than Missy is in some ways, in terms of like the gymnastics and all that type of stuff.
Might be. Not my area of
It's a very tough, I don't even know how they judge it, to be honest. It's very,
So it's less it's less their physique, and it's more their routine.
with their routine, exactly.
Because I asked, so like I said, Ariel's my teammate. I asked Justin about this. I was like, how do you peak someone for this properly because they need the energy to do their routine.
Yeah.
And by the time they get to their routine, so their routine's done at finals, right? So they get depleted as hell to get shredded for prejudging, and then you carb them up and you feed them up. So not that they weren't carved up, but you fill them up so much and give them all the food they need for finals.
Really?
Because they're not
because they need the energy
yeah,
boost.
they're not rejudging their physique at finals. So they like all the physique judging has been done in prejudging. And then, so if you look, like I've never really noticed it, but if
They
you
get like
look,
slightly softer.
Yep, like not even slightly. Like a lot of them get a lot softer because they eat and they're not worried about being so depleted because they need their energy to put on that type of performance. So yeah,
Yeah, we're just looking at Missy Truscott right now, and she's
Missy's
wild.
Yeah,
She's absolutely wild. Her in terms of the top 3 that we're talking about, I think she still has the best physique.
I agree
For sure.
Her physique is one of my favorites.
It's absolutely wild.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if she ever decided to do a women's figure or physique. I don't know where she would lie.
They've asked her before, and she's been like, "Sure, I could do." She was like, "I could do it," but
Well, it also brings up an interesting topic of I still think if someone can do both, they should be allowed to. Because I don't know if you remember last year we talked about this, that Sean was qualified to do the Open, but they wouldn't let him do both. He had to decide. And for example, let's say like she's a reigning Miss Olympia.
Yeah.
She should be able to then, if she decided to, like,
hop in the
hey,
figure?
why not and do the? I think so. I think that would be really
It
cool.
would be cool.
But that's a topic for another day. But so you're thinking, the way I'm looking at it is, personally, I think it's Jacqueline's time. I think she's put the years into the sport. And I think if she comes in on point and it, like you said, you have to dethrone someone.
Yeah.
But if Missy comes off just a little bit, or maybe the routine isn't up to par, I think Jacqueline can take it. And like you said, her name, what was her name again?
Ariel.
Ariel is like a wild card.
Yeah. I mean, Justin posted this the other day. Her weight now, or like a couple days ago, was the same weight it was when she won the Arnold in 2022.
Wow.
So she's at, and that was early, right? So she's like like her conditioning is there. So so I think it's a toss up between those 3, but I would love to see my teammate win, but I would also love to see our hometown girl Jacqueline come on up.
Well, we're going to move right on to Miss Olympia.
Yeah.
Right? The, biggest category for the women, where they are just absolutely jacked and shredded. You got to love it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to just go right off of the bat, and I'm going to say it. Nobody, absolutely nobody is dethroning Andrea Shaw.
No.
I think she's going to come in. I think she's leading herself to become the, what was her name?
Linda?
No, not Linda Murray. Wow.
Iris Kyle?
Yes. I think she's becoming the next Iris Kyle. Iris, I think, won 9 or 10. She won more than Ronnie. I know that.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to become that person, because if she can she doesn't need to get any bigger.
No.
She just needs to hold on to what she has, and she'll be a dominant force for years to come.
Here's the thing. Like, I see you looking her up, Angela.
Yeah, I just can't find her on here.
So, I forget her. Just type Yayo. I think she goes by her last name on there, but yeah.
Oh, here we go. Yep.
So they were 1 and 2 at Wings of Strength.
Oh, this girl.
Yeah, and so her coach is Brandon Ray, who he's a member here, so he's back and forth between here and California.
Oh, I know Brandon.
He's a
yeah.
phenomenal female bodybuilding coach. Shout out to Brandon, like really great. His athletes always look on point. He's got some really great stuff on Instagram too. But I told him when before Angela stepped on stage, when he posted some pictures, like, this is insane conditioning. And last year was her rookie year as a pro, and she qualified for the Olympia and took top 2. Like, she's a force.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, her and Andrea have such different physiques.
Yeah.
And Andrea came in even more conditioned this year than she has in the past. When I was watching her at Wings of Strength, I was like, damn, like, to your point, I don't think she's got to be dethroned, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, and once again, it's comparatively, just like I'll bring up real quick, like Sean with the 212.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a look and it's like impeccable, and they just keep like just these slight improvements every
And you're
year.
like, how?
How? And like same thing with C-Bomb, right? And you know, right now we don't have an open guy that does that yet, but it's so hard. Like they look so perfect.
Yeah.
They check all the boxes. And once again, I think the one thing that she has versus, sorry, I'm
Angela?
forgetting. Andrea has
Andrea versus Angela?
versus Angela is Andrea still has, she still holds on to a lot of that femininity
She
too.
does, yeah.
You know, and it's like, so she has the best of all these worlds all put together.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a very, very good show. And I'm so pumped that women's bodybuilding is back.
Yeah, me too.
You know,
It's really cool.
it belongs there.
It does, yeah, because people can say what they want to say about women with that much size and grain and vascularity and conditioning, but like there's a spot for it in this sport, just like there's a spot for anything on the fringes in any sport. Like this is the top, this is the elite of the elite, the creme de la creme, and these women put in the motherfucking work. Yeah. So, there is a spot for it.
100%.
I'm glad it's there because then it allows there to be a spot for women's physique and women's figure. And it gives us, there are a lot of gray areas, but it gives us some separation.
I was about to say, I think it's good because then you don't have these women's physiques, people in women's physique pushing it too far. It sets these caps.
And when they do, they've been told by the judges, go to women's bodybuilding.
Yeah, go to women's bodybuilding.
And that's happened with a couple women recently, like Melissa Tyke, who we talked about last year. She didn't get rewarded in women's physique, and they told her, like, next year go to women's bodybuilding. And she did, and I think she did top 5 at Wings of Strength, maybe top 10, but she did well, and so she's found her spot. But they told her in women's physique she didn't belong there.
Yeah,
she belonged in a different division. So she had a place to go, as opposed to being someone who could naturally get that grainy and shredded, and then not having a place to go because there's no other division. So.
All right, so just to recap on the women's side. So for figure, we both believe. We'll just go over the top ones that we believe. Yeah. So we both believe Sydney Gillen, Sydney Gillen. Thank you. Yeah. Is a repeat. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Then on to women's physique.
I got Sarah.
Or Natalia, and I'm hoping that Evie takes that 3rd spot.
Yeah, I would agree there.
All right. Then to fitness, I think Jocelyn Baker.
I think Ariel.
You think Ariel? And then Missy is, we'll see.
I think top 3
it's those 3.
Ariel, Jacqueline, Missy in some sort of order.
Yeah. Agreed. And then women's bodybuilding, I think there's no question on Andrea Shaw is going to.
Yeah. And then I got Angela. And then Michaela Aycock is she's so sweet. She's wonderful.
She is I
have her
another one of those super jacked.
Yeah. I have her taken 4th, 3rd or 4th. It depends. But, yeah.
That's Michaela right there, right?
Yeah, that's Michaela.
Yeah, she is her physique is wild. Last year
it's wild.
At it must have been the Olympia. I was in like a little, they had like a little gym there. And she must have came down. It was like, because it was like the day before prejudging or whatever. And she came to just work out and like practice. There's a big mirror there. And I'm standing there like, how?
Similar to Emily Schubert. Like I look
like
at her,
wild.
Like how I'm curious, guys. How are you getting this shredded?
Yeah, it's absolutely wild.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're moving on to the boys, and we're going to start with men's
physique?
Bikini.
Men's
what?
Bikini.
Oh, I'm sorry. Men's physique. Sorry about that.
Men's bikini, guys.
Yeah, men's bikini.
Huge now.
Men's bikini. Yeah, no, men's physique.
They're huge.
So it's not men's bikini. It's basically men's bodybuilding, but smaller.
With shorts.
With shorts. But, I think that brings up a great topic because we started before. We were talking a little about who is returning this year.
Yeah.
Right, Jeremy Buendia.
Yep.
He's coming back, and we both agreed that I think Jeremy was the last true men's physique that like got big, but he still kept like the true nature and criteria of men's physique. Yeah. And now we've moved into this, essentially they're classic physique guys, or even on the verge of being some of them like open. Yeah. And then they throw a pair of shorts on.
Exactly. They're busting out of their shorts, which, don't get me wrong, you want to see that someone trains legs, right? But
the legs I don't have the issue with. It's the fact that their upper body is, like, if you look at Sadiq when he won. Yeah. He doesn't even look like he works out compared to these guys.
I know.
In his first couple wins.
In his OG time. Yeah.
I mean, these guys were literally, beach surfer dudes.
Yeah, that was how it
and that was the
started.
look, and that's
Yeah.
okay. Like that was a great look. Don't get me wrong. And I could see it needing to develop a little bit, to put a little more size, a little more conditioning, and then it's just.
I mean, it's the same as every division. I think it's just become like really, really obvious in men's physique. So, as we saw, the IFBB put in place weight caps starting for 2024 for NPC and the IFBB. So. We're going to see probably some guys switching divisions if they're
switching over to classic or if they have the legs.
Yeah, because they're just a little bit too big.
Yeah.
But I don't think that changes the size of the guys that are going to be on stage this year because they're big.
No, they're huge.
Yeah.
So now that being said, Aaron Banks just lost to what's his name? Chiron, thank you, at the Legion Pro.
Yeah.
That was a big upset.
Yeah, it was.
Before we talk about Jeremy coming into the mix, do you think that will remain, or do you think that will change their personal placings, the two of them? Because I personally don't think Brandon Hendrickson or who took third at the Legion? I can't remember his name.
I can't remember.
He was a previous Mr. Olympia. I can't think of his name at the moment, but I don't think that I think they're kind of out of the.
Oh, I have Brandon taking second.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think Brandon's out of the mix at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm probably not giving him enough credit. He is amazing.
He is. Yeah.
But all right. So then, Aaron, does Aaron do better than Chiron?
No.
Okay. So then, if you think Brandon's second, then what? Chiron third?
Yeah.
And who do you have for first?
Jeremy.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, do you think any of that is that like the legacy coming into play?
I think that comes into play, and I think like Aaron's coming off of a loss, like
coming off of a loss into Olympia is never a good thing.
It's not a good thing. I mean, he's coming back obviously with a vengeance, but
how much also can you do in what 4 weeks, 5 weeks?
You
can do some, but I mean, he's not going to put more size on. He's just going to make sure the conditioning is perfect and the presentation is perfect.
Yeah. So it's going to be a battle, but.
I mean, I would love that. I think it'd be cool for Jeremy to come back and like, because look, let's be real. He's had a lot of just like personal things going on the past few years, and it'd be nice to see someone come back in the best shape they've ever been. Because I think he's coming back bigger than he did last time.
Yeah.
And
you could pull up his most recent update. It's bananas, like the conditioning, and I think what I always notice with men's physique guys is, as far as the conditioning, is like if they get that like inside out look through the third one, through their obliques into their through their abs, like that's where.
That's wild.
That's nuts. That's his conditioning too.
And agreed, he's one of the few people, like I said, he still has a very flowing physique.
Yeah.
Because I feel like his back isn't overdeveloped.
No.
And the way his lats insert, it creates a nice sweep versus like a hanging lat, like you would want in bodybuilding.
Go to that one down to the left,
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at his back there.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal.
I mean, and I'm not taking anything away from anyone else because like Aaron looks great, Chiron looks great, but like,
we're forgetting about someone. And I don't want to forget his name, so I'm going to look real quick. I do have a favorite, though.
Oh, wait. Who's your favorite?
Ryan Terry.
Oh, yeah. I have Ryan Terry in the top 10.
I have him in the top 10. I think he might. So I think he's going to place top 5.
Okay, he could.
I think he could. I don't want to say I don't.
He looks great.
I would love for him to win. The reason being is I just have now personal experience with him. He came here. He was a true gentleman.
Yeah.
Physique is nuts.
Yeah.
And it's also like, look, you get it. He came to New York recently. He went to see Steve.
Yeah.
He did the pilgrimage.
Yeah.
And he looks. Have you seen his updates? He looks wild.
Yeah. Let's see.
Now, he doesn't have the one thing that he doesn't have, but I think that's the whole point, is he doesn't have the size that a lot of these guys has, but he has like a very nice looking physique.
His conditioning is great.
It looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like to me, he looks like what the cap should be.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
For men's physique.
Yeah. This is it.
Yeah, that's what men's physique should be. So the only thing, his back got a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So the only thing I'm thinking is possibly that they make a statement with this is what we want for men's physique, and they place him like maybe top 3 or something like that.
Yeah, I could see that happening because like we said, like Aaron is a big guy. He's a really big guy. So the narrative of you guys can't be quite as big would lend itself to Aaron not doing as well here.
Yeah. So. He just looks absolutely amazing, right? Let's see, he just the whole. You know how it is, right?
Yep, got to kiss the ring.
Got to kiss the ring, but he looks absolutely fantastic. Super pumped for him too. He's recently I think they had his second kid or their first kid. I don't remember. He also opened up a gym over in the UK. So props to Ryan if you're listening. Thanks for coming on the podcast too. All right, so but I agree. I do think Jeremy is gonna play. Jeremy's top 3, no question.
Yeah.
He's either top 3 or he's like 7th. Like, I don't think it's like a...
There's nowhere in between.
You know what I mean? There's nowhere in between. He either, like, makes this massive move or he doesn't really make waves at all. But we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, next up, some people's arguably favorite division, classic physique.
Let's do it.
I'm going to let you start this one off, Jeff, because we have very differing opinions.
Well, we both know C-Bum's going to win. That's not a question.
Yeah.
We know this.
Yeah, we know C-Bum's going to win.
Will... knows he's gonna win, but
I know.
What did you say before this?
What I said many things.
What did you think about
C-Bum? Okay.
Olympia?
So C-Bum is going for his 5th title.
Yeah.
5 is a nice number. We all know because he's been open about it. He's had some medical issues. I think he has some rare disease or something like that. Autoimmune, whatever's going on, right? Yeah. And to put your body through everything with the conditioning and the food and just all this stuff is, for him specifically, is very difficult. He's done so well both on and off the stage. I would not be surprised if he takes his 5th title, gives a wonderful salute, and becomes like, the classic physique ambassador for the ages.
Yeah.
I know you think maybe he's got a couple more.
Yeah. I think it's coming.
I do think it's coming. I think, well, I'll change what I said before. I think if he wins, but if he wins by a narrow margin, he'll come out later on and say, I'm retired.
Yeah, maybe.
But if he wins once again with a clean sweep, I agree, he'll come back.
Yeah.
But I think he's waiting for like that moment, almost like the Ronnie Coleman's last win against Jay Cutler, like it was close type thing. Yeah. And then he's like, even though he came back Ronnie really shouldn't have come back another year. Yeah. But I think he'll be smart enough to not come back. But all right, I'll give it to you. C-Bum's going to win.
It's going to happen again this
All right,
year.
2nd place.
I think it's Ramon again.
All right, there I'll disagree. I think it's going to be Urs. I think Urs put enough size on in this offseason that those little gaps in his physique are going to pay off. And arguably, I think he is, and then we'll get into my favorite person. He and Terrence Ruffin are the 2 best presenters and posers of class physique on that stage. Yeah. I think C-Bum's right up there, very close. Yeah. I don't think Ramon is a great poser. He doesn't. I think everyone kind of knows that if he knew how to present his physique, I think he could do even better.
Yeah.
He kind of closes himself off. He doesn't open up the way he should.
I don't get excited when I watch him.
No, yeah, but all right. So I'm going to say Urs second. You're going to say Ramon second, but I still think that that's going to be our top 3.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think he's coming in.
And then Terrence, my man, if we could just
I think it's
we could just magnify you by like 6 inches.
Stretch him out.
Just stretch him out.
I think it's between Terrence and Breon.
Oh, so Breon. Oh, that's
he's
right.
Still in classic.
Okay, he's still in classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't see Breon making many waves. I know he was. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought he had made the decision to go to 212, and then he didn't again.
Yeah.
He's done that a couple times.
I know.
So I don't know. Yeah. I don't think he knows what he knows.
Yeah. Well, I think also because they changed the weight caps for classic too.
Oh, okay.
So they gave.
But starting next year.
Yeah. But so I maybe.
Because that was very controversial last year, Jess.
I know.
How many of them did make weight? I don't know.
C-Bum. Yeah, right. I don't think any of them actually made weight. But
no, I mean, I was telling Jess earlier. I was there. I was standing right outside the room with Sean because he had to go in. And Ramon, the two people specifically, because Urs went in and out, made weight, left.
Yeah.
Terrence, my man, same thing, in and out, left.
You act as if you hang out with him.
He's my boy, And but then Sebum and Ramon, like, it was these constant trips to the bathroom, trying to pee and just get any extra weight off. And then it was this awkward feeling that everyone was like, okay, I guess they're just going to compete.
Yeah. Sometimes it'd be like that.
So, hey, when you're the champ, you're the champ. What can I say?
Yeah.
But the Ramon thing, I don't know. But we'll see.
One guy I'll mention, I interviewed him at the Texas Pro. He won Texas Pro, was Jae-Hoon Park. He was like 12th last year. But
you think he's making a big splash this year?
I think he's going to come up into definitely top 10. I think he might. Okay, Jae, Hun, and then Park is his last name. I don't know what his handle is, but
I think this is him.
Yes, that's him.
Wow.
Yeah, that was him.
What a beautiful physique.
That was him last year when he came in 12th. This is
where you saw him in Texas.
Yeah, I interviewed him.
I think. So, super side note. Where's he from? Do you know? Korea. Korean bodybuilders are some of the best bodybuilders in the world, and they don't get the credit that they deserve.
Dude, at Texas there was like a delegation of them because they had a 212 guy, they had him, they had a bunch of them, and there was some like weird old lady that was like sponsoring them. It was a weird situation that was going on. I couldn't tell if it was like a mommy, I don't know, but yeah, they were all like in phenomenal shape, and I think it comes from like I have a few Chinese clients, some like a couple Asian clients, and it's this like level of like discipline that they have in their culture.
Sure.
Not to mention they have they're healthy as a culture.
Health
too.
conscious, yeah.
And they have insane genetics.
So I'll say this: after watching this is the first time I'm watching this. The size, the shape, everything is there. Upper body needs like the slightest bit of size.
Yeah.
It's just the conditioning.
Yeah.
Like he looks like his conditioning is great, but it's not Mr. Olympia conditioning.
Yeah, no. But I think it will bring him up into the top 10.
I'm sure his conditioning will be better for the Olympia.
Yeah.
So very cool.
Yeah.
So Sebum's taking it.
Yeah.
Second and third is arguable between Urs and Ramon.
Yeah.
And then Terrence at fourth.
Sure. Go for it. That's your boy.
We'll see. All right.
Yeah.
On to 212.
Okay.
Mr. Sean Clarita. Right? We have Calderon, who took second last year.
Mm-hmm.
And who took third? I know you have it in the...
I shared that with you.
Let me see here. Sorry. Oh, Kamal.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way I'm looking at this, here's what I think is going to happen. I think if Keon comes in shape, Keon's going to move to a third or fourth position.
I agree.
I think Sean is taking the win, and we'll talk about the video that I just saw.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I think Angel, once again, is going to be in that second, third position. I'm just not sure who's also battling for that like third or fourth position with Keon.
Okay, you ever met Kareth?
I haven't.
So Kareth Bajo, he poses with Kenny Wallach.
Okay.
Here, but he trains out of Bev's gym. He's our like a local guy as well.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Thank you for mentioning him because he was the person who I considered the wild card.
Yeah.
I think he's a wild card.
Yeah, he's top 5.
I don't think he has. I think he needs a little bit more. I think he needs to fill out his frame a little bit more to just. And I say that in the sense of holding the zone with Sean and Angel.
Yeah.
Because Angel and Sean have like maxed out their frames.
Yeah.
I think he can put a little bit more size on, but his conditioning is wild.
Yeah.
And he looks great. So he'll be someone to fight with Keon for sure, I think, for that third or fourth spot.
Yeah, I think so.
But I definitely don't think Angel is going to be taken away from that second.
No.
Kamal, I think Kamal's...
He's not competing this year. I don't think he's on stage this year.
Oh, so I'm thinking of... Wait, hold on a minute. Who am I thinking of then? I'm mixing up Kamal and Ahmad Ashkenani.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
I think Ahmad isn't even going to be in the top 5 this year.
No, I don't
His
think
physique
so.
has just been on the decline.
Yeah.
And Kamal isn't competing. So you're right. So I do think it's going to be Keon and Kareth battling for third and fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then who I'm also excited to see on stage is John Jewett. He just
That's
did really
right.
well at Open.
That's right.
In Open at Legion. So
if he can, I'm sure he'll make the weight cap, and he looks so
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
So if he just like sucks everything in a little bit,
yeah. I mean, he is a 212 guy.
Yeah,
He just
exactly.
did Open there, but I think yeah. I don't know if he'll be. I don't think he'll be top 5, but he's definitely top 10.
No, he's gonna look great.
Yeah.
And I like John personally. Like he works with Animal, and he's a.
Yeah.
I've gotten to meet him a couple times. Super, super nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll do well. But yeah, so back to Sean.
Yeah.
I was talking to his wife Rosangela, and she gave me a little screen share. Sorry, Sean, your wife showed me what you look like. And
Sean, you guys know Sean stays covered up
all year round. He never makes a post. The worst he'll do is like his clothing sponsor will be like, you need to take a video in a tank top.
Yeah.
And like that's like the most, and it'll be like a loose tank top.
Yeah. Or like a short sleeve.
A short, yeah. It's almost never.
Yeah.
And when I say I didn't think he could make, like I thought he was just going to take what he was and just make minor improvements. You know,
because honestly, you look at him and you're like,
what can you
he's
do?
Perfect.
Yeah.
What more could you change?
Yeah, exactly. And when I say that this man, the legs that he has put,
How?
I don't know where he got it. I think he's taken his legs to a whole nother level.
Wild.
And I don't want to say that because like they were bad.
No.
I just mean he's redefined them in a whole new, like they're in a new category. His back, it just like and to say his midsection looks phenomenal. So he hasn't blown out the lines.
Yeah.
So all he did was just add to the places he needed to add and kept everything that was supposed to stay the same. So it's going to be cool. I think, Sean, 212, 2023 Mr. Olympia champion.
Yeah, we know
Knock
that.
on wood.
We
It's
know
happening.
that. I mean, the whole Sean delegation, we're flying out there. We're ready.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sean, we're coming.
we're ready.
NJ Strong.
Yep.
We got you.
Signature's always got your back.
100%. I bought new shoes for the trip. It's going to be great. And lastly, the Open.
Yep.
Mr. Olympia. I don't need to even look up these guys because I've been obsessed with them this whole time.
This is going to be great.
So Rami is not coming.
Rami's not coming.
That's off the bat.
Yep.
I think we can just focus right here. We'll just call it the top 6. Top 5, top 6.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Go for
I
it.
don't like him, but I can't deny him.
Who?
Derek Lunsford
Yeah.
takes first.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Derek Lunsford comes in and you guys have seen it.
Yeah.
The update that he's been making.
I don't know how. I don't know how.
Hani is like a magician.
Hani's a magician. Because I will also add, it's going to knock Hadi out of first. I think Hadi takes second.
100%.
Did you see Hadi's 8-week out video that
Yeah.
he just teased? And he was like, in his broken English, was like, look at this 8-week out video and you guys can stay silent or something. Like, that was his way of like baiting a little bit.
Mhm.
If he looked like that at 8 weeks out, like no one else was looking like that at 8 weeks out. That one on the left.
This one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Look at his 8 weeks out conditioning.
I know, it's wild. And the thing is like, he like,
Look at the
so here's 8 weeks
video,
out.
then stay
He's
silent.
full. He's eating food that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He looks wild.
Yeah.
So I think the only person that beats Derek is Hadi.
Yeah, that's 1-2.
It's
but
it's
I don't
1-2.
think I think Derek wins.
I do think
Hadi's
Derek
2.
wins. I think Hadi's 2. I mean, because Hadi's going to come in peeled, as always.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing: is like we all know Derek's kind of this, I don't want to say the golden boy of bodybuilding because they've got him away with a lot of things.
Yeah.
And look, that means they like him and they're going to reward it. But his physique is worth rewarding. But I think he finally did the work to be rewarded. It just comes down to, at prejudging, is he going to be conditioned? Because every year he's come in and prejudging, he's been at like 90%. And then the finals come in and he's at 100. So if he can come in at 100 and then stay at 100, it'll be like, yep, he's Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
He's
Now,
right there.
now here we go. So now here's where it gets interesting. So we got Hadi. We got Derek. Then we got these 3 people who Nick Walker, Andrew Jack, and Samson.
You're forgetting about Brandon Curry.
I don't even think he beats them in the top 5.
Okay.
I don't think Brandon, his legs are not staying with him anymore.
Did you just see his update when he went to Bev's and he was with Steve?
Let me look.
Because I was on the same page as you, and then I saw this update, and I was like, all right, I don't think he's to his former glory. I think he's going to win. I don't think he's top 3, but I think 5 or 6. I think him and Andrew.
This one?
Yeah. I think him and Andrew Jack.
No. It's deceiving.
I think him and Andrew Jack are going to battle it out.
For what? For 5th?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Samson and Nick take 3rd or 4th.
I think Samson's 3rd, Nick's 4th.
Okay. All right. I'll agree with you on that. I just don't think he is a shoo-in for a top 5. I think he needs to battle for top 5.
I think so. Yeah.
And I think that's I completely agree. Andrew Jack and him are battling it
for top 5.
For top 5.
Yeah. Because I would pick Andrew over Brandon.
Me too.
I think Andrew has the potential to be a future Mr. Olympia.
Agreed.
But I don't think Brandon's going to get it again.
No, I don't think Brandon. If Brandon comes in perfect, he still doesn't beat Hadi or Derek or Samson if they come in perfect.
Yeah.
Because they're like Brandon has a beautiful physique,
yeah,
but he misses the gnarly factor.
Yeah.
Hadi has that in droves. Samson has like the wow of the size, and then Derek is just this like impeccable specimen of all of it put together. Yeah. So I just don't think. But all right, so we'll lay it out here. So we both agree. Mm-hmm. Derek takes 1st.
Yes.
Hadi takes 2nd.
Yes.
3rd goes to Samson.
I think so. Yeah.
I think so too. I just think it's going to be a tough battle between him and Nick.
It is.
If Nick comes in, so me too. The one thing I'll say is he every year, especially the past 3 years, every problem he's had, he's fixed.
Yeah.
And he's gotten better and better.
Yeah.
Like his midsection was kind of getting out of control. Out of nowhere, he sucks that in.
Yeah.
His conditioning was good, but it wasn't ridiculous. That got better. Yeah. I think him and Samson are going to have a real battle. And like I said, I think in the right year, I think Nick Walker wins the Mr. Olympia.
I think Samson wins the Mr. Olympia. I think Andrew wins the Mr. Olympia.
I don't think Andrew yet.
No.
I think the top 4 right now could win the Mr. Olympia any day of the week. I think Nick, I think Samson, which is crazy because Samson's he just skyrocketed.
I know. Yeah.
But I think Nick, Samson, Hadi, and Derek, if the show was, if everything aligned right, any of them could be Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think Andrew needs a little more time. Yeah. So, all right, Derek, Hadi, Samson, Nick, and Andrew versus.
I think it's probably Andrew.
Yeah.
For 5th. I think Brandon.
That's
6th.
where I think we can agree. I think it's going to be a battle for 5th with Andrew and Brandon.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a battle for 3rd with Nick and Samson.
And I think Hunter is right behind these guys.
Exactly. And it's a shame because Hunter's great. I just don't think.
I think he's at his best too. But couldn't.
It's not even. It's what the clear depiction now is. Yeah. Is this is now a game of genetics. Yeah. Because they're all big. They're all conditioned. Some of them, their insertions just look nicer. Yeah. The separation just looks nicer. Yeah. And he has the silhouette. He doesn't have those little details that these other guys have.
I am excited to see Justin Shire on the Olympia stage.
Yeah, that'll be pumped.
He's visited here before.
Yep.
Know him. He's a really nice guy, and this is his debut. So I think he has a beautiful physique. He just has a lot of room to fill it out. Mm-hmm. And then Ian, we won't see back on stage.
No,
he's
retired.
We know Nathan didn't make it, and then Brett Wilkin was supposed to do it. Also, his first time at the Olympia.
He pulled out.
He pulled out as well. So there's a lot of interesting stories going into this.
I think we're gonna have one of the most exciting top 5, 6s that we've seen in years. Yeah. I think this is going all the way back to 99, 2000, 2001 when Bautista was his name? Paco Bautista, I think his name was. I can't remember his last name, but Jay, Ronnie, Gunter, I think Laverne was still there. It was the last time when they had some crazy, the ending era of the 90s guys. Yeah. I don't think we've had anything as exciting as we do now because then it was the Jay show for a while and then it became the Phil show for a long time. But now it's who's going to get it?
Yeah. I think this is the first time in a while we haven't known who was going to get it.
Yeah.
Because the last few years, we can blame it on COVID all we want, but that did limit who got to the stage and then all these visa issues. So this is going to be unique.
Well, Jess, I know I'm excited.
I'm super excited.
It's going to be fantastic. Guys, you're going to see both of us.
Yep.
Make sure you follow the Signature Instagram. I'm going to be going live. I'll be interviewing our resident IFBB Pro Women's Physique, Jess Falborn. We're going to have a lot of friends of New Jersey. And, of course, Sean will also be in the house. So, guys, stay tuned on the Signature Fitness Instagram. We'll see you soon. That's another episode of the Signature Cast where we listen to bodybuilding, business, and everything in between. Thanks a lot, Jess.
Thanks, Will.
Peace.